I think now hop in a little bit more, Ness.
1, 2, 3, go!
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the To Be Read podcast. I'm Vanessa.
And I'm Julie.
And today we are doing episode number 2 of our dystopian world renaissance. Welcome back.
Welcome back to the wildly suppressive government system that we are living in the real world and in the book world.
Let's just be depressed.
Let's just be depressed. But in this episode, things are getting a little worse. Apocalypse has hit. Systems are cracking. Violence is increasing 100-fold.
Shit has hit the fan.
Chaos reigns. And I think my chance of survival is at like a -72. It's not looking good. All right. But welcome back. We're talking 3 more dystopian books today. These ones are a little more chaotic, a little more dark, a little more gritty.
A little bit more about survival.
Yes, there's a little more survival and a lot more survival to these ones. But we're so excited. A couple favorites in here.
We are going to get started with A Stark Few by Alexis Patton.
Am I reading the synopses in this episode?
I want you to.
A Stark Few by Alexis Patton. Kalani is a prisoner. Takeshi is a guard. Both are bound to the underground. Ooh, a little poetry. Kalani Keynes was arrested and taken to the underground prison, where Takeshi is a guard. Every second is a battle to survive down there. Neighbors are murderers. Cold-blooded guards punished without mercy. Takeshi Steele is the captain who runs Kalani's cell block. He's going to break before he lets Kalani escape, or is he?
Dun, dun, dun.
There's darker traps and secrets awaiting within the prison shadows. Welcome to Braderhelm, where only the wicked remain.
This book is kind of an interesting dystopian because it is 90% in a prison, in the same prison.
In the same setting, underground.
Yes, which there are a couple of dystopian books that are very prison-like, but you still get maybe some other stuff. This one is very primarily in the prison. So Kalani gets sent to prison for being caught with poetry.
With poetry. Oh, we have a theme of art again, guys. Look out.
I believe that she's holding that poetry for like someone else.
Yeah, for Douglas.
For Douglas, yeah. So she gets kicked into this prison where she gets labeled prisoner number 317. So everyone is kind of degraded into only being called by a number, which is very
dehumanizing.
Dehumanizing in a way that I didn't expect to kind of, not that I relate to it, but I kind of empathized with it. To know yourself is a blessing. And so when you are stripped of some of these basic human rights, like having a name, it's very interesting.
And we really see Kalani go through the process of like rediscovering her humanity. She's in this prison forever, for the foreseeable future, like unless she escapes.
Yeah. I think she's only in it actually for about 3 months, but
yeah, but
in her mind,
when she gets put in, it's just like, this is going to be forever kind of a thing.
So when do you think like she truly started to reclaim herself?
Oh, there's this scene when she's with Winnie, and Winnie, I know that you picture her as Trelawney.
Yes.
In my mind, she's Mags.
Oh, yeah.
From Catching Fire.
They both kind of have a whirly-twirly essence.
Whirly-twirly?
Whimsical
like
is a better way to say that.
Woo-woo. They're a little woo-woo. But she decides to help Winnie write her book. And in that moment, she has this whole inner monologue about like what it means to live. And that moment, the best part of her days at that point were when she was sleeping. And I think she makes this conscious choice to start living. And at that moment, she's forged a connection with Winnie, and, you know, she has some other friends-ish in the prison. And I think in that moment, I need to stop saying in that moment. I think when this happened, she's like, okay, it's time. It's time to change. That's when I noticed the shift.
She attributes Winnie to being like family and for the reason why she's finding joy in life in prison. So basically, she is basically just beat up by a couple of inmates, and
frickin' Dana is
she's that bitch
of this book, that one that's out here to just ruin Kalani's life.
Dana dies though. That was like a jump scare for me. So at the very end of the book, Takeshi has just said, we can't keep doing this. We can't, like, I'm a guard, you're a prisoner, we can't keep having moments. And then like a day or two goes by or something, and then like they all get rounded up in the pit. And then they call a bunch of people forward. He fell into the pit. It's exactly what goes through my mind. He fell into.
We all fell into the pit.
But this is really dark after what we just sang. But then like he calls a bunch of people forward. They all die. The crazy part of that is Takeshi wrote the list. So he sentenced half of the people to die. Granted, he said if he didn't do it, then the warden would, and he couldn't guarantee Kehlani's safety. And so there's like a good reason, but it is still a hard choice for him to make because he also is a product of his system.
Yes.
So do we think that Takeshi has enough redeeming moments? Or are we just all being emotionally manipulated by tension and eye contact?
With his dark eyes. Takeshi, he is the epitome of touch her and you die.
Yes.
I think he embodies that. It's like I'd burn the world down for you kind of energy.
Which is crazy because like they've only known each other for like a month.
It's the same
and they don't really talk.
It's the same as Vale and Raven
Yes.
and To Cage Wild Bird. It's that same just like, did this really happen? But we're in dystopian worlds.
So anything
Could
goes.
dystopian happen? Are we living in dystopian?
Are we someone else's dystopian world?
Are we someone else's dystopian world? But okay, honestly though, if you look at Takeshi, like he's this hard ass. The worst thing he does directly to Kehlani is tases her.
Yeah. And that's like literally like conversation numero uno.
Yeah.
So.
But I do find the principle of falling in love with a prisoner so quickly to be an interesting mind-bending exercise of just like, okay, let's make this work.
And one thing I will say about this book is it reads a little bit more on the YA side where it goes into her feelings more than Takeshi's.
Oh, yeah.
But like, and this happens more in book 2, but I don't want to focus on book 2, where I feel like a lot of MMCs don't ever get like enough backstory or whatever to
of like, why are you falling for her?
Yeah. And you get a little bit where he talks about like his mom, how he got to be in the prison guard for like basically killing his stepdad, right?
Right.
And so like you figure out why he's so triggered by that guard like trying to rape her. So you get the reason why, but like him as a character, besides him being broody, you don't really get to see a lot of him other than he has a strong moral compass. But like what exactly does that mean? Because he just sentenced half the prison to die.
It's mysterious.
So I agree that he doesn't do anything crazy to her. In fact, he tries to arm her by teaching her how to fight, and that's a great thing for them. I'm glad to see like in the second book his character explored more so than in the first book.
Yes, definitely.
But in this first book, don't expect that right away.
No, but
There is just a lot of tension and eye contact.
And there's tender moments though.
Yeah.
Like
There's one part where they talk about like they're laying next to each other and they're not holding hands, but even just the connection.
they're touching pinkies. Little fingers touching and grazing each other.
It just goes to show like sometimes it's the energy you put out.
There is bed sharing. Platonic bed.
One bed.
Platonic at that moment it is. He just rescued her from being being assaulted.
Which is kind of another mindfuck because if I were just assaulted, I would not be wanting to touch another human. But
Yeah.
I guess,
But she's kind of found solace with him
yeah.
and some solitude.
And it does talk about that. It does talk about that in the book of like how she felt safe with him.
Yes. So I am a sucker for the training sessions and then the bed sharing that does happen. But it is gritty. Like those guards that are coming after her and even the way that Dana comes after her, like it's kind of
brutal.
Tough. It's really brutal.
Do you want to know what I actually found more disconcerting was the governor? Because the governor immediately treats her like a human, which is like a hypocrisy almost because
It's his system that's
It's
sending
his
people
system.
to prison. Yeah.
And then you find out at the end he's a robot.
Whoa. The governor is sadistic, though.
Yes.
There's a scene where she got sent to work at like a governor's ball and they're talking like in another room.
Aren't they talking about art?
Yeah, because he's showing her the Mona Lisa that he has hanging in his house. Yeah, but she asks him like, what's the significance of this piece of art? And he says, in many ways, the focus on art and foolish fantasies in human culture led to the Great Collapse. They weren't focused on the real problems. People were more inclined to sit at home and live in a screen versus worrying about climate change, declining resources, and mass extinction across different animal and plant life forms. The warning signs were all there, but they knew they wouldn't be alive when the destruction they sowed came about. They waited for someone else to fix their problems, but it never happened. And here we are. Unfortunately, that plague of ignorance was never cured, as you correctly surmised. I keep this painting here as an ode to that lost generation and a reminder of my duties.
What's weird is he actually hates both like the wealthy and the people in prison. Like he says that, I hate everyone.
Yeah.
So you don't really, and it's not answered in the book either. I felt like that book had more of like a shaky landing because I'm like, there was no resolution other than the fact that Takeshi rips off a robot's head.
Well, and there was never any like foreshadowing of him being a robot.
No.
Besides, is his disdain for both the wealthy and the prisoners like supposed to be a clue that he might not be human?
Maybe. It actually, so that was a reread for me, right? So hitting it on a reread was interesting because, again, it was a quick read. It was like 300 pages, right? But there was a lot of the same themes of like art being a form of rebellion and, you know, just speaking against a system that's already there for you is hard, but it's what you have to do. And so they escape their prison and then they go on their merry way. And then after that, it's like Fallout. So it's book 2, though.
Yeah. There's a part again with Winnie because Winnie works in a library and is like having this access to books is rare, especially in this society. But they're talking about books and their purpose. And Kalani is just like, but books are supposed to teach you things and they're all supposed to be like, it's all supposed to be intellectual. And I thought it was kind of an interesting argument, like against the whole anti-intellectualism debate that's constantly happening on the internet. But she says, what's the purpose if it's not teaching you anything? Sweet girl, the purpose is about life. These books aren't meant to train or give a history lesson. They are meant to stir the mind and the soul, to immerse you in the wonders and hardships of love, the most powerful force in the universe.
That's pretty powerful coming from a crazy lady.
Don't call her crazy. Put some respect on that woman's name.
Who said crazy was bad?
She is kind of loony. She does speak in the third person.
Yes, she does.
Winnie loves you, Kalani. So
realistically, she's not like Trelawney. She's like Dobby.
Harry Potter must not go back to Hogwarts.
Doesn't that sound exactly like something Winnie would say, though?
Dobby is free. I can't resist a Dobby quote.
It's because he's the best character in that book.
So one of my biggest takeaways from this book was the power of writing, and that writing is a great medium to process. Kalani does a lot of it in this book. It reminds me of a line from a 21 Pilots song. It's from the song.
You're going to be that girl?
I'm going to be that girl. I'm going to quote lyrics from a song. No, I love 21 Pilots. And I think about this line often because I think both members of the band have struggled a lot with mental health, and they write a lot of songs about mental health. In Heavy Dirty Soul, he says, this is not rap, this is not hip hop, just another attempt to make the voices stop. And that's like totally what Kalani was doing.
Yeah. I think my big takeaway is bat your eyes at a guard when in prison.
When in prison?
When in prison, do what you got to do.
Do what you got to do to survive.
But I actually like the fact that even in a broken system, she wasn't like broken like Sasha was in Beneath. Like where she was like struggling to survive. She was, Kehlani was sad and depressed, but she was still living.
Yeah, she's trying to rediscover herself and like figure out
what to do,
where to go next.
Yeah, because her family also died. And she had to identify her parents' dead body.
When she was like 12.
8.
Whoa.
Yeah.
My daughter's 8. That's terrifying.
It is. So overall, just another day in the dystopian world.
And that is part 1 of what will be a trilogy come September. That's when book 3 will be released. So
I overall really liked the book. It just read a little bit more YA is all.
Yeah, but grittier YA.
See, I don't even think it was that gritty.
Yeah.
Every dystopian book reads gritty, for sure.
Yeah.
But on the scale, maybe it's because, we're comparing books here.
Yeah.
It's not the grittiest of our selection.
No, we're going to get there. The next one's grittier, and then the one after that is also grittier than that one. So our next book is
Bones by Cale Speer.
Bones, because we will never stop talking about Bones.
We love Bones.
One, because we love Bones, but because we also love Kelsey, okay? She's fantastic.
What a great author, because she's doing a lot of stuff
she's
for her community.
Bomb. Yeah.
Do you want to read the synopsis?
Absolutely, I do. Okay. Bones was born with the miraculous power to heal, but all her gift has brought is death. After escaping the raiders that imprisoned her for 12 long years, Bones finds herself in a mountain stronghold called the Vault. There, her powers are once again abused, and she struggles to deal with all that's happened, all that is happening, and all that could still happen. As everything builds and she's forced to confront all her demons, she begins to ask herself, what am I surviving for?
This book hits you in the feels, but like what a great, because it is post-apocalyptic.
Post-apocalyptic, yeah. There's fantasy elements to it. There's magic.
But like at the end of the day, it's really like kind of a testament to like mental health and surviving trauma of all kinds, really.
Of all kinds.
Bones is kind of a unique title. What do you think that it symbolizes in the context of the story?
Oh man, it's so hard hitting when you think about all the name Bones and the title of it encapsulates. Like every part of Bones, the person, every part of her humanity was taken by abusers and manipulators and people that were just out there to use her for her power. Mm-hmm. They didn't care that she was like a kid.
Yeah, she literally is picked up at, I think, 12, right?
Yeah, like she was literally just a frame of what she once was. Just bones. Like there was just a structure.
I think they even gave her the nickname Bones because she was skin and bones.
Yeah.
Like
there was nothing to her physically because she was just used and abused.
Yeah. So Bones is not only like a mental description, it is also like what she physically looked like.
Yeah.
When she gets picked up by the crew, like a stray cat being picked up by a loving family who wants to love them so much, but it's like incredibly hard to do so because they just keep scratching at you.
Like a heavily abused shelter dog. Yeah.
So the Vault crew becomes a really big part of the story. It is found family. Which found family relationships were the most meaningful to you and why?
Sam. There's just something Sam to me is Levi and Beneath.
Yeah.
They're of the same shape for sure.
Cut from the same cloth.
Yes.
Two.
His outright true love for Bones and his willingness to sacrifice like his literal lifeblood for her. Mm-hmm. Without hesitation is so meaningful. I love it.
He is the gateway also into her trusting other people, right? Him 100%, and Trey.
Yep.
Trey is such a really good symbol of hope there. I also have Sam because he's my little special baby. And a lot of times that those secondary characters, that the ones that are the vehicles to give hope, those are always my favorite. They're the ones who understand the character so completely that they can give grace when it needs to be given, but they also kind of like buck up Buttercup, like when that is needed too. And they're always just so calm. And I don't know, those are always my favorite characters. And Sam, I don't know if I'd say he's calm, but he's funny. And just the fact that he can give Bones any sort of hope is actually really redeeming of anybody. And
I just feel like every member of the crew really brought something that Bones needed. Trey brought the hope. Mac brought the buckle up. Like you got to do this.
Yeah.
You can't do this. Sam brought the tenderness. Grizz brought support. Like
I love Grizz.
It just was perfect for her.
Raven also I honestly think every girl needs a girl friendship. As someone who was primarily raised by boys, I think we all need someone who can understand the female persuasion on a base level, because it is different, I do think. And so once Raven finally like gives up her grudge, then it becomes really good. But speaking of Trey, what did Trey bring out in Bones that no one else could? And did their relationship work for you?
Their relationship worked for me. I think because there was a lot of resistance at first. Like Bones did everything to like, I can't do this. Like I'm not just going to jump into something. And she got in that stupid relationship with that other guy that just pisses me off every time I read the book.
That's always really hard when the FMC does something and it's like that Edna mode lady from The Incredibles when she's like, pull yourself together. That's literally what goes through my mind every single time.
The self-sabotage.
Yeah.
Ooh, it's
I'm
so
actually
painful.
kind of over that.
But because Trey was so patient, and he never came in with like, I love you immediately. Like, he never came in with that insta love. It was just like, I genuinely care about you and I want you to be okay. Like, he came in with the healing a shelter dog energy.
He kind of did come in with insta love, but like for everyone. Like, it wasn't necessarily even
he's just a lover.
You know,
he's just there to love and to spread the love and to like open up himself and his crew to people that need it. But also, Bones saved his life.
Yeah. So, but Trey has like his own trauma and he's trying to figure out his sister, and like honestly he has his own past, and that's another thing. I said it before, just because going through, I will say Bones' trauma is kind of very, very traumatic, but like just because someone goes through trauma doesn't mean eventually that they need to pick themselves up if they want to live a happy life. That's one thing with her that I really wanted to punt, especially when she's going through that phase with the guy that she's just banging just because, to feel something. And I get that.
Just to feel something.
Just to feel something. But there was definitely times where I was like, girl, You've got two men over here who would be very happy to...
If you just looked their way.
I know. So, which brings me to a quote that I think we both have in our notes. "You're a river, Bones," he said, squeezing my hand hard to get my attention. "You don't break. You bend. If someone tries to control you, you find a new way around. People might think you're just water, might think they have you contained, but you're strong enough to cut a path through a mountain rock and wild enough to wash everything away when you rage."
Ugh.
Which...
This happens in another solitary confinement moment.
Yeah, her solitary confinement was rough to read because...
Oh, it's so painful.
For her, being in her head is very painful. And so just that
Yes.
whole relationship is... And she's like hurt, I think.
And in complete and total darkness.
Yeah.
Kelsey's writing is out of this world. It evokes so much emotion. It is so raw. And I think that's because so much of it comes from Kelsey's lived experience of struggles with.
She's been very open about the fact that she like has dealt with a lot of those things.
Yeah. Depression and suicidal ideation and all of those things that you see with Bones. And I just feel like Kelsey pours her soul out onto the page. And as one who's also been through things like that, it is cathartic and therapeutic to see it on a page and to know that like you're not the only one that's been through it and that there's a way to get through it. Like you don't break, you bend, you just keep going and you just keep flowing.
In a lot of ways, this book is about survival. And what does it look like to you? What do you think that the book ultimately says about surviving versus truly living?
I mean, there's a big difference between being alive and living, but there's another quote. There's another quote from
21 Pilots.
Listen, I am so deep in the lore of 21 Pilots right now. Like there is a time where the lead singer is talking about how we have the ability to hurt ourselves, but we need to take that energy and point it at something else. And I think we see Bones do that in the book. I mean, she starts taking care of the kids and giving them a place to be. She starts healing people willingly, even though the head of the vault is like using her for torture, but she willingly wants to heal and help people. And in that, I think it starts to heal her in a way.
I think that the book argues that survival is really about endurance and like picking yourself up. But like truly living is about reclaiming your humanity as a whole, and staying alive is not the same as feeling safe or loved or free enough to imagine any sort of future.
And that's a story arc that Bones is still on.
Yes.
Like through book 2, probably into book 3, like she is reclaiming
Do
her
we know
humanity.
if that's a trilogy?
It's going to be 4 books.
4 books.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's your like big highlight for this book?
I mean, you know that I love emotional damage. And this book is...
You are a trauma slut.
This book is emotional damage encapsulated, but it's because it evokes such emotion, but everything's fleshed out. The characters especially. And I love a character-driven story.
It is definitely more character-driven than... Like, there's a plot and everything, but I would definitely say it takes more character.
This book lives so rent-free in my mind. The imagery, like... The way that I picture the hospital is so clear in my head that, like, as I was writing these notes, I'm like, I'm there. Like, I see it all. The mattress on the floor, the little loft, the, limited supplies, the group coming in and out, waiting outside and keeping her safe. Like, it's just so clear. And I don't know, it's just kind of ingrained in me. What about you?
I feel like a big highlight for me was, while I love Trey, Mac has always been a character that I gravitated towards.
Seriously, from the get-go, you're like, there's something about Mac. And I'm like, I'm still not over what happened.
I mean, no one can be over what happened to Trey.
I'll never forgive you and I'll never forget this.
Yes, it was very traumatic. It was very traumatic. And I feel bad for anyone who has a spoiler for it before reading it, because it does kind of like lose a lot of emotional impact.
Oh, I was blown away.
Yeah. So, well, as much as I love Trey, Mac was a highlight for me just because I find his presence very calming. His line of "Your river bones," which really was a highlight of the whole book.
Yeah.
But honestly, he again is a leader. I think I just gravitate to those types of characters.
Yeah.
So that was a highlight. And then, I mean, my big takeaway from Bones is just like, let's keep surviving, and you have to be in charge of that journey for you.
Yeah, there's so many ways you can dismantle a person's humanity, and there's so many ways you can hurt a person. Like, it's so important to care about people, and on every level that we try to care, that we try to empathize, that we try to be there for people. And there's no end to the trauma that a person can endure, but we can find ourselves again. Like, we'll be different, of course, and change, but still be us at the heart of it all.
Yeah.
Ugh, Bones, you'll live forever.
Yeah,
in my soul.
And Fangs, actually, I think I liked more than Bones because I like Wolfe. He's my favorite character other than Mac. But again, he is a leader of his people, just something I gravitate towards.
Look at that.
I know.
Consistency is key.
Aelin, Darrow, which are basically twins. No one can convince me that they're not related.
Ooh.
Anyway.
Like that. All right. Our next book is a heavy hitter, big name right now. Big popular book right now.
It is. It's Daggermouth by H.M. Wolfe, and it is chaotic. It's pure chaos. Put it lightly.
A corrupt surveillance state is ruled by the masked elite. The city ruled by these elite is carved into rings of privilege and poverty. In these rings, obedience is demanded. Our main character, Shadra, is a contract killer in the Boundary. When she misses the mark on an assassination, she ends up tied to the heir of the elite ruler, a prisoner of the heart, and contracted to a union neither of them ever wanted. Part 1 in a duology. That's important for you to know because I found that out halfway in.
Is it a duology?
Yes.
Okay. I knew it was a series. Didn't know.
It's a duology. And I sent a very colorful text to Vanessa when I found that out.
Yeah. Just assume there's going to be another one.
I can't. I like standalones.
That's just rare nowadays.
Says the girl who's obsessed with Red Rising, but still. All right. This book is dark. We've got, and there's a dark romance vibe to it.
It's like one of those movies that is like filmed with like a darker lens.
Oh yeah.
Like a
there's
sepia tone. Or this is very,
yeah, it's very dark. It's very like
Quentin Tarantino.
Ooh.
You know,
just
very
like Mistborn. If you're living in there's always ash falling from the sky. It's always misty. It's always dark. There's never any sunshine.
Nothing's clean.
Nothing's clean. Oh man. So we have like major class divisions in this world. And it's very evident. It's very clear. How do those class divisions and the structure of Newfound Haven, which I found to be a very funny name, how do those affect the characters' choices and morality? Wheel of morality. Turn, turn, turn. Tell us the lessons that we should learn. Animaniacs. Wheel of morality.
Okay, so we've got Heart, which is the ruling class. We've got Cardinal, which is the working class, and Boundary, which is the poor. And we mainly see it from the
Heart and Boundary.
And Boundary. So literally the richest of the rich and the poorest of the poor. And the class divisions in Newfound Haven affect everything because they really shape even just again, their basic human essentials.
Yes.
We've got people living in luxury in Heart, and then in Boundary, they can't even find food. They're being monitored by the government and by drones.
Constant surveillance.
And so literally the stakes are different. The people who are living the wealthy life have the luxury of not having to worry about where their next meal is coming from. So literally the people in the Boundary are probably more feral by nature because they're trying to survive.
Yes. But the elite also have to wear masks, which I would like to pose a question about the masks here. Because there were times where it talked about the mask covering their whole face, but then they're eating with the mask on.
Mm. So I wondered that too, actually.
Are there different types of masks for different things? Like, do they have
swap them?
Do they have an eating mask and then a not eating mask? And did you ever picture the masks from ACOTAR?
No, I never did. At first, I
had the hardest time with the ACOTAR masks. I was just like, ugh. But
they did not serve a real purpose in ACOTAR. But in this one, it's just another layer of
control,
especially because
it also adds a layer of intimacy.
It will be interesting to see how that pans out.
Yeah.
I initially pictured half-sea masks, and then
covering the nose.
Yeah, just like a masquerade. Yeah. But then it talks about how it goes down, into the face and covers the mouth. And so at that point I was like, oh.
But maybe it comes all the way down and then there's just a cutout, the cutout for their mouth.
Beard?
Yeah, like a goatee.
That's actually very Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe, I don't know, but it does give a level of intimacy of, or again, like you can't show anyone your face but like your immediate family members. And that's how Shade and Grayson initially have to get married, because it's a marriage of inconvenience, of convenience, marriage of convenience.
Yeah, this one was inconvenience.
They basically she sees him without his mask, and basically they're like, something happens where
they get caught,
which is funny because they're fighting each other.
Yeah.
And she's trying to assassinate him. And so basically the ruler, who is Grayson's dad, says, no, you have to get married, which by the way is a huge plot hole, because if he's so willing to kill people willy-nilly, why doesn't he just kill Shade? But then there would not be a story. But the class system,
that just stump me so much? Why did I not think about that? Like,
that was literally the first thing I thought of. I was like, why did you not? Because his fiance's family saw them.
No, he didn't kill her because it was going to make them look weak because somebody got in.
Yeah, but I find that such a bad excuse. Like, that makes us look weak. And it's like, you literally are over here like killing people willy-nilly. Like, and honestly, he didn't even have to tell the other family that he killed her. I don't even know.
I think it was just letting the society know that like somebody, because they explain the crime when they're up there on the podium before Grayson has to shoot them. Mm-hmm. They explain what the crime is.
Oh, I'm not talking about that. I'm thinking he would just offer in his secret lab.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like
that guy is. I don't know.
He's a megalomaniac.
I don't know if I've ever read like a more messed up, like psychotic.
He's just a megalomaniac.
Oh, yeah. We could compare him to like Coriolanus Snow as well. Like he's just out here for the horror of it all, self-serving. But the stuff that he does to his wife and to his kids, like
crazy.
The reveal of Lyra having been raped since she was 14,
mm-hmm.
I was like,
and the daddy doesn't care.
Yeah.
Mm-mm. That's not cool.
And the torture that happens to the wife, that was one of those moments where I was telling Jake about the book and he's like, what are you reading? And I'm like, it's not good. And by not good, I just mean like it's dark and hard.
Sometimes hard stories need to be told, though.
They do.
You know? So speaking of the characters, it's very Shade versus Grayson, which is weird because they're both literally working towards the same goal, but they've just been brought up in different societies.
Yeah.
And they're trying to break their own systems. Which character did you sympathize with more, Shade or Grayson? And did that change?
I feel like I have to hand in my feminist card when I say this. I don't know why. I just felt more towards Grayson. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's because we were told about everything that Shadra went through like her scarring and like obvious signs of her wounds and stuff like that. But we really got to know like the inner workings of Grayson
mm-hmm.
and like everything that he endured like in detail. So I just don't feel like I know Shadra as well as I know Grayson.
Shadra is a character that actually didn't go into a ton of the backstory. She's like very powerful. I mean, like she's like a cactus. And it takes one to know one. But she like doesn't like a whole lot of contact. Like you see that with Jameson at the beginning. She doesn't want attachments. And maybe it's because of the life they live. They literally have to give up any hope of having happiness just to survive. But she's literally like an assassin, right? She like takes on contracts to kill people.
Because that's how she's going to survive.
Yeah. So I find I could understand her more, but it wasn't necessarily because the author told me about it. It's just like I could relate because that's how I am. I do agree that I think I ended up sympathizing with Grayson more because while survival, like trying to figure out where your next meal is coming from or whatnot, that's one thing. But like the mental stuff that he went through with his dad, like if he was just another one of the wealthy that had like a normal dad or even just like a semi-normal dad, it would be like a lot different. But he had the craziest dad.
Yes. The torture that he was put through was just like unreal.
And isn't his big tattoo like covering a bunch of scars that his dad gave him?
Yes.
And he also like had a brother that died and like that guy's just been through some stuff. And while I don't want to discount Shade, I definitely feel like the book explained more of his point of view.
Yes, which I hope we get more of understanding of that because I felt like overall there was a slight imbalance of the characters. We're given Shadra and Grayson as our main characters, but then we're also given some POVs of like Callum and Jameson and Lyra and like their stories. And I found myself drawn to like Callum and Lyra's story at times more. Which I enjoy a good solid cast of characters. It would just throw me because I'm not used to having that many POVs in a first book.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think I like it, but not in a first book because you're still just trying to figure everything out. And as far as like crazy characters, one of my favorites, because he was the most morally complex to me, was Jaeger,
Yes.
however you want to say that.
Jaeger.
He seems to be doing a lot of bad things, but like for the right reason, so you don't really know how to feel about it.
Yes.
And he's like the head of like not the resistance, but in the boundary, there's like, I don't know, they feel like a biker gang to me where they just are an assassin crew kind of thing.
Yeah. Shadra works for him.
Yeah.
He's the one that gives her the contracts.
So, but you find out later he's a part of the resistance and he's trying to help in any way he can. So he seems very like morally complex and you don't know much about him and I'd like to know more.
It's funny because I feel like I love Callum, who I feel like is the opposite. Like he's the heart version of Jaeger. Like they're both kind of mob bossy, but Callum is in the heart and
they're both
Jaeger's
hubs.
in the boundary.
Like they know people, they network.
They have the connections, they network.
Yeah.
There was just like so much about Callum that I was like, you're everything, not in like, you're everything to me, but he is literally part of everything that's happening. And I loved Callum.
I liked Callum, but I did not love him as much as you did. And I think it's because I actually did not find his and Lyra's relationship all that great because you get into it while it's half through because a lot of stuff that they've been through was previous to the book.
Yeah.
And it's not like a flashback. This is why flashbacks I feel like if they did a flashback or throughout the whole book, that would have actually been more impactful in building Callum and Lyra's relationship versus them just telling.
I'm a sleaze for a brother's best friend and any shape or form. So this was just like, thank you. All right, that ending though.
That was a crazy ending.
Did you expect it? How did you feel?
No. Does anyone expect that shit show? And when I say shit show, I mean that like respectfully. Like it was just so crazy.
Respectfully.
The ending left me wrecked and desperate for the next book. I mean, there was so much that happened, right? You find out the brother is a double agent. You find out mom is actually the Viper. Is that what they call it?
Python.
The Python. Oh, sorry.
Get the snake right.
I'm really good at getting the snake right. Okay. But there's just like very high stakes all around in this book. One thing that that absolutely wrecked me about the ending is when like all the women take off their masks.
Yeah.
And I actually thought that wasn't given enough glory because like they're just ushered away really quickly. And in the moment, it feels very impactful and it feels very resistance and everything. But I just felt like I just wanted something to happen other than they kind of whisked the women away. Like,
yeah, I was like, what is happening? There was like so much going on at the end. I feel bad that I had kind of written Alara off. After her torture chapter, I was just like, that girl is just like broken beyond repair. So her reveal was just like, hello.
Yeah,
that
no
was my
one
mistake.
saw that one coming.
Never, ever underestimate a woman because I can birth a child, rip in every direction, and then be sewn back together and then proceed to have more children afterwards. So why would I
only be taking ibuprofen?
Yeah. So why would I ever underestimate Alara? Like what?
I think that was
you can knock us down, but we will always get back up.
Yeah, I think that was a definite point H.M. Wolfe made.
Oh,
don't write her.
Don't write
women off. One thing for me that was like a really key takeaway is Jameson is like a reminder of humanity. Like a reminder that even in the most brutal or corrupt system, humanity and selflessness still matter. He very much is trying to get Shade back. He's trying to do everything he can. And he doesn't necessarily do that once he finds out Shade isn't in like mortal danger, but like he's doing everything he can to be like just a good person. Like he's Grayson's contact. He's a member of the resistance. He's just literally like the humanity of the book. Yeah. Whereas everyone else, even though I guess he does kill people too, it's definitely more from like a survival point of view.
Yeah.
And he just has so much heart to him that it was hard not to love him. And in fact, there was a lot of times where I was like, just go back to Jameson.
Yeah.
Obviously that's not the play, but
Jameson, he was a very admirable character. I want to be so respectful as I say this because I mean it with my entire chest. H.M. Wolfe, I want more voices like hers in the book space. Strong female writer who's also a Black woman. Like, not only are we getting her perspective as a woman, but we're also getting her perspective as someone who comes from a group of people who are historically oppressed. Like, to read her perspective was chilling for me because I know that she put her soul into these characters. Like I felt that as I was reading, and I want more perspectives like that in the book world because I think they're important. We need to read them.
That's a good point.
I really loved that. And as she's writing things like, women are the backbone, the foundation, the immovable force that still does not falter when men stand on our spines to grab power. I am not fragile. The cracks in my soul aren't broken places. They are veins cemented together with rage. And it will take more than the hands of men to kill my spirit and to break my will.
That is stone cold. One thing I would just really love, like one little thing to take away. Whiskey isn't the only alcohol out there.
Not the alcohol being like a main character.
It really was its own main character. And like, I get it. Like if I lived in that world, I'd probably be drunk all the time. But like, it's funny just that whiskey was the only thing being drunk between Callum and Grayson and Shade. And like, I just was like, literally vodka would have been cheaper.
I thought there was tequila in there.
I don't know.
I think she pulls tequila out of the freezer in Grayson's apartment. But no, alcohol is out here like main character energy. We are a part of every scene.
I don't even mind, like, because I've definitely read a lot of things where it's like, oh, and they, took a drink of something. And a lot of times it's whiskey, but like the amount of times that the alcohol was mentioned and it was always whiskey, I was just like, pick a new drink, like any new drink.
They have metabolisms that are just like of another world because not only are they ingesting so much alcohol, but they're also getting the ever-loving shit beat out of them.
And they're
multiple times.
Screwing like
bunnies.
Sport.
And then the next day they're just like, I'm a little sore here. Got a couple bruises. I got a cut, but like, let's go. Let's go kick some more ass.
Yeah. I do think like the more alcohol you drink, like the more of a resistance you make yourself. Like so,
true.
But
livers of steel, I tell you,
or terrible livers, either
or
one.
Cirrhosis. It's one or the other.
Take your pick. So that would be like my only thing is like literally anything else. Give her like, what about a margarita? Like, what about
resources are limited.
Like even just
moonshine. Give me some moonshine.
Moonshine, yeah. Well, like vodka and moonshine are definitely like cheaper to make than whiskey. So
I don't know. Maybe this is taking place on the Isle of Scotland, and they live by the Lagavulin factory.
So the key takeaway that I got from that book, from Daggermouth, is humanity is what power wants us to remove, but it's the only thing keeping us alive.
Ooh.
Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, this has a lot of like government surveillance, like the drone scene where they're chasing Jameson was just like, stop listening to me, cell phone. This is my kind of like silly takeaway from this book. I fully believe that I will never have the upper hand on anybody ever because some creepy ass man is watching my every move and he just totally knows what I'm going to do next because psychopaths are going to psychopath. But honestly, there's so many tragedies in this book, but I think the one that stuck out to me most was like the invisible labor and the burden carried by women. And it was just like so poignantly delivered, but also beautifully described and explained. And I just felt it deep in my soul.
So wrapping up these books, all of them, we're going to do like an all of them wrap up.
Dystopia.
So between post-apocalyptic or dystopian, however you want to classify these, why do we need to read these books?
Steps on soapbox. I think art helps us understand things and helps us see the world in a different perspective and maybe helps us grasp things that we may not be grasping on our own. And I think especially in times that we're living in with governments that are in power, we need books like this now more than ever to understand that we don't have to rise up in a full rebellion to resist, that there's lots of different ways that we can resist. We can speak up, we can speak out and try to bring about change because powers that be are not the powers I want to be.
No, not right now. Honestly, really not ever. I would agree that those would be great takeaways overall. I would also add to that humanity is what's going to keep us alive.
Yeah.
So however that looks to you, whether that's pulling yourself out of a dark time, whether that's opening yourself up to people, whether that's art, whether that's just being loving and humane. I don't know. There's lots of things you could even say about that, but try to have as much humanity as you can in today's day and age.
Absolutely. Reach out, make connections, keep us alive.
Yeah.
Oh, I love books. I love them so much.
I hope that you have resonated with at least one of those because I feel like everyone should have like a favorite dystopian.
Share your thoughts with us. We want to discuss the books. Pick up dystopian reads, read, and read some more. And we'll catch you next time. Bye.